All right, welcome back to the DCL podcast, episode 2. Today I'm joined by Frank Eveland, the owner and commissioner of the Dairyland Collegiate League. Frank, how are you doing today?
I'm doing great. How about yourself?
Doing great, thanks. So first up on the docket, how long have you been affiliated with the Dairyland Collegiate League? And when did you decide that you decided you wanted to be the guy taking over?
Well, I first started the first year it came out. I hosted our GM Hayden Cooper as a player. Um, Chase Davis, the former owner commissioner, approached us about hosting a player, so we said yes because our son Eddie was in the T-Cats organization, and we'd been with the T-Cats, I think 2 or 3 years by then, and got to develop a relationship with Chase and Colin. Uh, so after watching the first game, I just loved the whole concept. I thought it was the greatest thing. They brought collegiate players to play in these hometown parks and put on. And at the time it was COVID, so they were putting on a nice outdoor show for people to get outdoors and get out of their houses for a little bit. Uh, so I was right then and there. I was like, this would be cool to be a part of. And then, once the opportunity came available in talking to Chase, it actually began last year, but Chase wanted to kind of see if he could do it remotely last year, and he said it was just too complicated. So then we got into negotiations for me to assume ownership of the league back in August, and then we worked out a contract, and that's when I started to really develop these concepts of bringing in sponsors and looking at maybe some expansion down the road, etc. So uh, that's where it brings us to today, doing these podcasts on our YouTube channel. I think it's going to be great for the league. I think it's going to be great for the players. I, along with Hayden, we're both on that same page as we're in it for the players. Want to help them develop. Want to help them succeed in their programs when they get back to school. Uh, the really cool thing that Chase did was allowing committed high school seniors to play in the league each year. We're keeping that because that's great. It really helped a lot of the young men I've been talking to. It's really helped them transition into college nicely.
Yeah, that's great. That's awesome. Good. It's good to see, young kids who normally wouldn't get these opportunities because most of these leagues usually only take, at least from what I've seen, they only take kids in college. So that kind of leads me into my next question. What are your plans and goals? Where do you want to take the DC?
Well, I've been talking to few people in the baseball community, and there is an excitement to grow it. Um, we are looking at possibly adding teams. We're considering doing that as a franchise option. And I think if we got too big too quick, logistically, we couldn't handle it as a core. So, based on that excitement, I mean, we have a wait list of players too that are trying to get in, and applications are still coming in daily. So, you can see the need is there. We just have to work on, as I see it, we have to work on developing a safer pitching culture to get more pitchers during the summer. Um, I was talking to coaches around the country. They're a little hesitant on sending players out in the summer to pitch and in fear that their arms are going to be overused. So right now, Tom McBride, our operations manager, and I, and in collaboration with Hayden, we're working on a uh, maximum pitching per week rule for our league, so it preserves those pitchers for their programs. But also, we're hoping to get more corporate sponsors to bring in sponsorships so we can utilize that money to put scholarships into our schools, improve the parks that we're playing in. Some need scoreboards, new turf on the field, etc. We really want to be hands-on in that operation and get so like summer, in the beginning, we have youth camps already lined up for these players to help local youth organizations work on some skill building and stuff like that. That just gets shows that we care about the community that we're doing business in.
That's great. So looking ahead, and we'll say the next 5 years, where do you foresee the DCL ranking amongst some of these other summer collegiate leagues?
Well, I'm hoping we're somewhere near the top. I'm in 5 years, I can see us being a 4 division league, north, south, east, west. I think as we build it back up, we should be able to attract some of the talent even the Northwoods is attracting right now. I plan on, hopefully, if I can make everything work out right, is to actually travel about and try and recruit some of these players myself, and see if I can get some top level talent to come to. I think it's good for everybody if we have a good mixture and they can all learn from one another to help enhance their careers. A lot of coaches say they send kids off for the summers and they come back just the same. I was like, well, that's not going to happen in the DCL. They're gonna get their work in, because we're going to have a meeting as soon as they arrive to say, we've talked to your coaches, we know what their expectations are, and we're hoping that you fulfill those expectations, because it's our reputation on the line as well as yours. But I think in 5 years we could be 16 teams strong, probably. And then, of course,
Sorry.
we're going to have a whole big media. We're going to have a whole big media uh, thing going on then too. So hopefully, I still got you around to help guide me through that in the next 5 years.
So you mentioned, your son, I believe, was in the DCL last year or spent some time in the DCL. So, and then obviously you've been involved, through hosting. So what has the DCL meant to you, and now what does it mean to you to be the one who has it in his hands?
Uh, my wife and I, we really enjoy hosting players. So since we got our house 3 years ago, I mean, we were in an apartment first when Hayden first came, so we kind of had to make do with a 2 bedroom apartment. But I have my basement set up where I can fit approximately 4 people downstairs, and it becomes like a really cool summer community down there. They stay down there and they play their video games and stuff like that, and they get to make new relationships. Uh, Hayden's whole story is one that is why baseball is such a loved sport. I mean, he was headed on his way out, came to the DCL, revived his career, and he's slowly moved up the ladder. And when I was in negotiations to take over the league, he was already pegged as my number one guy to become the general manager, because in watching him over the 3 years that has been with me, I could see that he's organized. He's got a good head on his shoulders. He knows the game really well, and he was just a natural fit for that position. And he has a 5-year plan of also to get a bigger offer of being with the DCL for the foreseeable future, at least the next 5 years, he told me anyway. But yeah, it's been good to us, and we've been good back to it, and we want to share our stories like we're doing now to get other people to see that worth coming out and seeing, and it's worth helping host these fine young men in their homes for the live out their dreams.
So to build off of that, what do you hope the DCL can be for college players? Like you mentioned, it's, the DCL just yet isn't attracting the top levels of college baseball, but some of these guys at the JUCO and D3 levels, what do you feel like the DCL can be, to helping them get looks from some of these better leagues or help build their repertoire when it comes to like, pro scouting and things like that?
So yeah, I'm seeing how my son's been in the JUCO world the last 2 seasons. Uh, I see the real beauty of that baseball. So uh, I think with our social media presence in enhancing what we do this summer, we can help highlight some of these players out into the national social media base and get them looks from places hopefully they never thought they'd get looks before. I mean, I'm not knocking the guys that we get every year at all. I mean, they're extremely talented baseball players. I just feel that we could do better by them by getting their exposure out there more. That's why I really wanted to get this YouTube channel up and going. And then we're going to enhance our media next year. I really want to get Wisconsin Sports Network or Worldwide Sports Network in next year to have the better camera equipment, etc. So we can put that out there even stronger. I think in the past, these players have come with a mission, but the mission wasn't presented to the baseball world the way we liked it. The first couple of years, yes, but it's kind of faded in the last couple of years. We want to really bring that back to life this year. I know, like the NAIA players, the D3 players, when we host them, they've told us they had wished they had gone JUCO first to build their skills and get more prepared for college. In being in the environment for the last 2 years, I can see why they would say that. It's a good brand of baseball. I mean, in fact, I was toying with making one team in the DCL, all JUCO players, to see how everybody competes with that. But I think we have a good mix this year. We got a lot of returners, which is good to see, and we're going to keep growing that platform to help these guys out with their futures now and beyond. I mean, like Hayden, I mean, there's opportunity to grow with this league, not just as a player, but get in with our operations teams, our media teams, etc.
So the rosters, at least from what I've heard from you, the rosters aren't finalized just yet. But are there any players or teams right now that are sticking out to you as, teams to watch out for the to win the league, or players to watch out for as guys who could potentially take the DCL by storm?
There are. I was reviewing the Foxes roster. It's really solid. It's got a lot of really good new and returning players. It's got a nice mix on it, and CJ does a nice job with that squad. I don't think he's been this full, this fast in the past couple of years, so I think the outlook is good for CJ and the Foxes. Mapaches are looking strong. I think they really got a decent group of pitchers coming in. They got a strong outfield. And it looks like we're going to equip Hayden and Drake with some really nice bats there as well from UW Whitewater and UW Stevens Point. We got some nice JUCO mix in there. Just looked at the Rats roster last night. They got some nice D3 JUCO stuff in there. So I think it's going to come down probably to everybody's still chasing the bums, of course, because they've won the last 2 years. But I think the one I'm looking at right now, 1 and 2, is the Foxes and the Mapaches to battle it out for first this year. But as we know, we get to the postseason, and those Cheese Kings, they come hard. They're always there at the end, so never can count them out.
As they always say, baseball is baseball. You never know what's coming next.
Yes.
So yeah. So do we have a set day for opening day this year?
Our schedule, it looks like June 3rd is our first day of games. There's 2 games that day. And then we'll do 2 games a day from there on out till the end of July. I didn't bring that schedule with me. Sorry.
That's all right.
We got the All-Star game early July, which the media guys and myself and Tom and Hayden and the managers vote on the players that will to make the All-Star at that point. And then we got a couple weeks after that. And then we play our week-long double elimination postseason tournament to get to the final two teams at the end. It's always fun. We've got some great parks out there. Waterloo. We got Frame Park. We got MSOE. We got Fireman's Park in Johnson Creek. We got Oconomowoc. We got double headers on Sundays. They have a great concession stand. Super cool atmosphere. I really suggest people come out and watch our double headers on Sundays. We're going to incorporate. I've been working with the owner of the dock hounds there in Oconomowoc to have a youth game in between the double headers to just bring more people out to the park and help out with the concessions there because they've been a really good host to us. So we want to see if we can pay that back a little bit this year.
Yeah, that's a really great idea. Way to get the community involved in what you're doing here. And will there be anywhere that those watching this at home can find these broadcasts for the upcoming season?
They will be able to find them right here on our YouTube. We'll scatter them all over our social media platforms. As you can see, I got a great broadcast guy joining us this summer in Rhys. We're going to be utilizing Rhys at the All-Star game and the playoffs. He's going to be our PA guy. After hearing his voice on these podcasts, it made sense to me. So all I want people to do is come out. The games are $5 at Oconomowoc, but they're free everywhere else. Just come out and enjoy some high quality college baseball. Every park pretty much should have concessions this year. One of our sponsors, Jimmy John's out of Mequon area, Steve Worth, he's going to hook us up with some sandwiches to sell and stuff like that. So we have a great venue there. Yeah, so there'll be a bunch of cool things at the parks this year. I got Scoopy from Culver's going to come down for. I'm going to try and get some kids events going at some of these parks. My wife's cousin owns two Culver's in the Sun Prairie area, so she said she'd gladly get Scoopy into the parks for us, and maybe even have some shaved lemon ice there and stuff like that. So, a bunch of big things happening this summer. Our biggest need right now, though, is host families. So, if we can get this out into our local social media market, hopefully we can get the remaining host families that we need for the summer because these guys, I've done it for 5 years. I've never had one problem. And the one problem we've had in this league, and that was, I think, in the first year we had an issue with one player. We sent him home right away. We don't tolerate it. So your houses are safe. Everything's safe. These guys are good young adults and responsible, and they will respect your property.
Is there any pitch? I know you said that the rosters are filling up. There's a wait list. Is there any pitch that you want to make to any players who haven't found a home for the summer on why they should sign up to join the Dairyland Collegiate League?
Well, what they can do if they know any players that have already played in it, they can tell you that the culture in Wisconsin in this area, we love our baseball, and I haven't had negative feedback from one player didn't love coming to Wisconsin and playing that 2-month stretch in our parks and getting out into our communities. We have a lot to offer. Probably the biggest thing is if you want to get developed as a pitcher going into next year, if you're kind of not at the starting level or on the spring traveling roster, we can help get you there. We got a really good pitcher is coming as an assistant manager for the Mapaches, who I already talked to, who's willing to help guys out with mechanics, etc., and get them going down the right path. So we have a whole and Hayden, he's our all-star the first year, a great hitter, great hitting coach. He's doing wonderful things at Delta State. I mean, he's got them hitting well there. So I mean, we have a kilometer, a whole bunch of guys that can teach a lot of things. And last year was a funny story. One of our local pitchers, he was pitching to one of the southeastern players that came up this summer. And when talking to him after he hit the home run, I said, I just want to know what you saw there. He goes, well, he was throwing curveball, 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 and then he shook it off twice. Then I sat fastball and drove it over the fence. I was like, gotcha. So, those are things you can learn now as a high school senior committed to a school, that you won't make those mistakes once you get there. You'll be able to understand the thinking of real hitters, because you won't get that in high school. It's pretty rare in high school to get a hitter that thinks that way, but you'll get them here. And another beauty is that we do get quite a few guys that get contracts into the Northwoods after they're done with us. They go on and play in the Northwoods for the rest of the summer, which we have a good partnership with the Northwoods League in that respect. They don't try to take them while in season, but they're ready to take them after season, because we get done before they get done at the end. They get done, I think, mid-August or something like that. So they'll have 10-day contracts for guys after they're done with us. If they see you on our social media, they're probably going to pick you up if they think you're Northwoods material.
So my final question for you, is there anything else that you want the world to know regarding the Dairyland Collegiate League?
That we're here to stay, and we're going to battle to become the number one collegiate baseball league in the Midwest here over the next 5 years. So if you find us and you want to play for us, and after watching how quickly we filled up this year, you got to get on board quickly. That's going to hopefully change next year. We'll get a few more teams locked in to have at least 2 divisions by next year. But right now, we're really looking for more pitchers to come up. We know you're in season, but once you're done with season, go on to DCLWisconsin.com and fill an application, and then we can get you up here and get you some reps over the summer. But yeah, we're looking to grow. We're looking to be competitive in the market. We're looking to bring on big name sponsors. Right now we are. I think we're close to getting Cane's Chicken as a sponsor, but that's still in the works. But that market hasn't been dabbled in, but we're going to go after them. We're going to get them in here so we have brand recognition, that way too. And we're going to build our media. We're going to build our media up big time, because I want real good game views and stuff like that. In talking to Charlie Helms of Worldwide Sports Network, he can get us out there. He can get us, the equipment we need to be successful that way. This year, I just found it was a bit of a stretch to spend close to $20,000 to get that going, but we're working on that for next year for sure. It will happen next year. This year, we're going to stay with our newest platform of the YouTube channel, and also our Game Changer live stream. I got in talking to it, I got great media people coming in. They're going to help bring us current in the social media market. So big things. over the next 5 years. We hope to be 16 teams strong and competing with the big boys.
All right, folks. Well, you heard it here. DCL's here to stay, and one day they'll be competing with the big boys in summer collegiate baseball. Frank, I want to thank you for your time, and I'll be seeing you here shortly. Summer's coming up
Yes,
around the
sir.
corner.
Appreciate you.